Hi, Dr. Angela Massey here with the question today. Are you suffering from active inertia? Maybe you don't know what it is, but you're suffering from it anyway. Here's the definition of active inertia, commonly contributed to Professor Donald Sull. And active inertia is, and I quote, management's tendency to respond to the most disruptive changes by accelerating activities that succeeded in the past. Let's take this definition out of the boardroom and bring it to your room. Active inertia is sticking to a commitment long after common sense tells us to let it go. Again, active inertia is sticking to a commitment long after common sense tells us to let it go. Let me give you an example. A good friend of mine in active inertia, but not realizing that she was in active inertia, found out when her son went to jail. Suddenly, she discovered that not only had he been using drugs, but he was also an alcoholic, and this disruptive behavior finally erupted in his doing something illegal and ending up in jail. Now, before this all happened, my good friend had been very busy taking care of this child, or so she thought. She was busy going to work, and any time a sudden cry for help would come, she would deal with it the very same way. She would sit him down and ask him what was going on. He'd say nothing, and she'd let it go. You see, she was stuck in active inertia because she didn't realize that her same way of dealing with it was not the way to deal with it. It required something different. She discovered that she was in active inertia once the judge issued the sentence. Suddenly, my friend found time to put her child in rehab. Suddenly, she found time to spend time with him like she had not done in the past. Suddenly, she found time to really talk to him and to find out what was going on in his world. But until then, she had been stuck in active inertia. So, how can you overcome active inertia? I want to give you two quick tips to help you overcome your active inertia. And the first tip is to become proactive rather than reactive. Many of you have probably read Dr. Stephen Covey's wonderful book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And if you've not read the book, I strongly recommend that you do so. And in fact, I've created a link and included that link in the transcript below. So there's a link to Amazon.com right down there, and you can get his book from Amazon. What Dr. Covey teaches us is this, that being proactive means taking responsibility for your life and for yourself, and no longer blaming others for the things going on in your world. He teaches us that if we want something different, then we have to do something different. That's what proactivity is. The second quick tip that I want to pass on to you to help you overcome active inertia is this: begin digesting change rather than dismissing it. Again, one of my favorite authors, Joe Vitale, The Secret, he was a star in The Secret, and the book that I'm about to give you information from is called The Attractor Factor. Again, click the link below in the transcript and you can get a copy of his book if you don't have it already. And what Joe says about dismissing and digesting is that when we dismiss something, we hear it, but we decide that it's not something that we can benefit from. We totally overlook the relevance of it in our lives and we continue to move on. When we digest something, when change is presented to us, we examine it and we wonder and we think to ourselves, how can this make my life different? How can this make my life better? There's something here for me. Joe says that when you dismiss, you get the opportunity and the right to be right, but you also get to stay stuck. So, do you want to stay stuck or do you want to be right? And the answer should simply be that you don't want to be either. You want to move on. When we dismiss, what it means is that we are not opening ourselves up to the potentiality or the possibilities that change and life can bring. Remember that active inertia is by its very nature deceptive because we are doing something, But what we're really doing is spinning our wheels. We're doing the same thing over and over and over again. And it was Albert Einstein who said that doing the same thing over and over again is simply insanity. It's stupid. So stop it. Active inertia is evil. Get a grip on your life, embrace the change, do something different. So the next time you find yourself in a state of active inertia and you are aware that you're in this state of active inertia, this is what I want to ask you to think about doing. And it is this: ask yourself this question: if I choose to do something about this or not to do something about this, will that choice cause me to feel some regret later on? If the answer is yes, then quickly move out of active inertia, move into active, be productive, and move on. Until next time, Dr. Angela Massey reminding you that life with no purpose is no life at all.